What if I told you Bang Yedam and Mashiho leaving Treasure wasn't a surprise, but in fact a pattern in all YG Entertainment groups from Big Bang to Treasure? But why would this 2-year-old group's main vocalist and main dancer, who are probably their most recognizable faces, leave for what looks like no reason at all? Or at least a good reason. This is the story of Treasure, a group created out of struggle who have been criticized and had big shoes to fill at YG Entertainment. And now, like I always like to say, before looking forward, I like to look back on what happened to Treasure. Well, before we get this started, if you're new here and want to become an official Koreaboo and not miss a new video, hit the subscribe and the bell right now. Do it, come on. Let's see what happens, do it. Do it, I dare you, do it. Now, if you saw my last video, you might already know that Treasure was one of those groups that was formed from a survival show. But that isn't exactly the beginning of this group. People in Korea already knew about some of the members years before their debut, like Junghwan, who was a member of the martial arts dance team K-Tigers, or Junkyu, who was a child model, or even Bang Yedam, who most people will remember appeared on the second season of K-Pop Star as a contestant when he was only 10 years old, which is where you might have thought he had potential to be special. Or Mashiho, who was an actor in one of Acton Musician's music videos, and Jihoon and Bang Yedam and Doyoung, who filmed for Stray Kids survival show. Oh, and also Hyun and Junkyu competed in YG's other survival show before Treasure Box, called Mix 9, where Hyun actually got 5th place, which would have guaranteed him the debut, but the winning team's debut was cancelled by YG. It's a whole thing. If you want to learn more about the disaster that was Mix 9, watch my last video where I watch every single K-pop survival show. Well, almost all of them. But more than that, Treasure grew up as YG artist fans. Fans of Big Bang and Blackpink, like Haruto and his family being huge fans of Big Bang with more merch than I have, which led him to audition for YG in Japan when he was 12 years old. And Junghwan, who bought Blackpink's first mini album with his own money. To be fair though, Really and See You Later are our bomb-ass songs, okay? A lot of Treasure members' dream was to become a YG Entertainment artist, which is funny when you think about it. Yes, many K-pop trainees begin as fans of famous idols first, but Treasure are probably the first generation that grew up as fanboys of YG artists and were inspired to train to be idols just like them. But not just at any company. They wanted to debut specifically at YG Entertainment. And the most insane thing is, they actually did it. So what is the best way to form a group if you're YG Entertainment? Well, after witnessing the absolute hype train that was the Produce series, now in its 3rd installment with Produce 48, it's a survival show, of course. But it wasn't just the success of the Produce shows that made YG make a survival show. In fact, YG Entertainment have been doing their own survival shows to make all their boy groups. Every single one, from Big Bang to Winner to Icon, you could probably say YG did it first. So YG's Treasure Box premiered on November 16, 2018 in Korea, and also simultaneously on YouTube, which you can still watch most of it right now on YG Treasure Box YouTube channel if you really wanted to. And while I was watching it to prepare for this video, I noticed something. Now, I don't know the exact details on how each K-pop company molds and nurtures their idols, but at YG, they don't do that at all. They break them down and build them back up. Kind of like the military. If they don't criticize you when you're a trainee, you're doing something wrong. For the very first episode, all the Korean pre-debut teams, Team A, B, and C, were picked apart by Young Han-suk and the YG staff. It was even worse when the secret Japanese team was introduced. Team J came in and impressed right away. It was a loss for Korea that day, in the words of YG himself. But I think this theme of such tough criticism and judging comes from YG expecting more. Knowing that these trainees have potential to get better and better every day. And it's true what they say. People grow the most under adversity, during the most difficult times. Take Yoshi, for example. He revealed in the 6th episode that he lost his father when he was in middle school. Growing up with the burden of stepping up for his family made him feel like failure isn't an option. He had to debut. Plus, there was even trainees with little experience, like Jihoon, who was once cut from YG Entertainment only to be brought back once the survival show started, and Asahi with only 2 months of training before joining the competition. So I really do believe the Japanese team was the fire that needed to spice up this survival show, and make the trainees get into that do or die mode. It seemed even tougher since Yang Han-suk said he was thinking of debuting a 5-member group the whole time, until the final episodes where he said 11 would be chosen and then it would be 7 and then but there was one trainee that always placed at the top, if not number 1 in every episode, and that person was Bang Yedam. He was training under YG the longest compared to anyone on the show. His talent was obvious when he went viral long before Treasure Box on JYP's Stray Kids Survival Show with his cover of a Shawn Mendes song.
I wanna follow where she goes. I think about it and she knows it.
His voice, trendy, smooth, and exactly what YG loved. Bang Yedam was always the role model trainee. They would ask his opinion on judging other trainees' performances, and he continuously impressed in YG's Treasure Box. From writing to composing, balancing both school, training, and the show, Bang Yedam was the pride of YG Entertainment, the future of the company. He is probably the brightest trainee to ever walk through the doors at YG. But back to the show, there was a shakeup by Yang Han-suk. He had selected 11 spots for the Treasure lineup, and then still couldn't make up his mind and said 7 would debut from the 11, but in the end, Treasure was created, with Haruto, Bang Yedam, Junghwan, Junkyu, Jeongwoo, Jaehyuk, and Hyun. But in true YG fashion, he changed his mind once again. He saw that there was too much talent to pass up, so YG Entertainment announced a whole new group called Magnum, made up of Hyun, Mashiho, Doyoung, Yoshi, Jihoon, and Asahi. This was all because YG had a plan of forming an even larger collective group called Treasure 13, combining both Treasure and Magnum every so often. So you can kind of compare it to how NCT gets together every year to have the most handsomest family reunion you've ever seen. But that whole supergroup plan was soon crumpled up and thrown away, because trainee Hyun would cancel his contract with YG Entertainment with the only reason stated, a difference in music direction. Less than 1 year before Treasure's debut, Hyun left his debut on the table at YG Entertainment. Still, the debut Treasure wasn't gonna be stopped, and the Treasure 13 would actually kinda happen because Magnum would be absorbed within Treasure, officially becoming one group with 12 members. With the dream finally becoming reality for these trainees, it was time to debut. But they would rebrand to show the public they are this one group now. They worked on a performance video of a song that was revealed during Treasure Box called Going Crazy. Which is one of those songs that will forever be a classic for Treasure and their fans. That, and it's just crazy good song that charted on Billboard's Social 50. Treasure did that without even officially debuting yet. With Going Crazy showing off the whole group, YG also worked with Bang Yedam on a solo release called Wayo. That just showcased his artistry, which also made his mark on Billboard's World Digital Song Sales chart at number 10. Now let's be real for a second. YG Entertainment wouldn't do this if they didn't think Bang Yedam was the pride of the company, and now of his own group. During debut preparations, YG Entertainment said they wanted to use BIGBANG as the blueprint for Treasure, so they plan to have Treasure release 3 to 4 songs within their debut year, which to my surprise, actually happened, given that YG usually never follows a calendar. Treasure's first signal to the world was the debut title track, Boy.
I just wanna be your boy.
Followed by I Love You. And then, which by the way, hey yo, chill. And fun fact, is the first music video where they filmed inside YG's new building that finished construction in 2020. Man, they got BIGBANG, Blackpink, and Treasure, Winner, all of them working in a damn spaceship out here. Anyways, with the debut album, The First Step Chapter 1, you can physically see the Treasure effect in full swing. Pre-orders for the debut album soared past 170,000 sales. The title, Boy, made waves over in Japan, topping numerous music charts. Back at home in Korea, the album went certified platinum. And adding the next 2 chapters completing the First Step series made Treasure a million album seller by 2021. The cherry on top was Treasure picking up End of the Year awards for Rookie of the Year at the Asia Artist Awards and Best New Male Artist at MAMA.
Treasure 트레저.
인사드리겠습니다. Find your treasure. 안녕하십니까, 트레저입니다.
So yeah, life was good for Treasure, and YG Entertainment couldn't be happier as their rookie boy group headed east. Treasure made their Japanese debut with a Japanese version of their debut album, which charted #1 for 4 days in Japan. Now, this is for my Koreaboos and Weeaboos out there. If you're this special breed, you might have not known that they sang one of the endings for the anime Black Clover with the Japanese version of their song Beautiful. And now, by this time in the world, everyone is in the middle of the COVID pandemic, but that didn't stop Treasure from holding their first ever fan meeting, following strict COVID protocols, of course. YG began the next step for Treasure with a teaser for their upcoming album, The Second Step. And that was enough to have fans ready to dish out the cash, as Treasure recorded an absolutely insane 600,000 in album pre-orders. Fans called To Me were right to expect something massive out of the new comeback, as YG Entertainment invested a nearly $500,000 into just the production of the music video of their next hit, JIKJIN. JIKJIN, like a lot of Treasure's music, expressed this group's intensity and desire. JIKJIN remains as Treasure's most commercially successful hit and got the group's first ever win on a music show. And I got to mention a little B-side track on that album that had its own viral moment on TikTok, as Darari began to rise up the charts. Flying high, the group had some unfortunate news. When in May, Treasure had to announce the hiatus of 2 members. Bang Yedam would step away from promotions in order to focus on producing music. Mashiho's hiatus was explained due to his health, with no more details. It was quite sudden news that nobody really saw coming, making it look very suspicious. And if you've been a K-pop fan long enough, you know whenever a member takes a break from a group for no reason at all, it's not a good sign. But Treasure went on and promoted their next comeback as 10 with the song Hello. Then the announcement everyone was worried of waking up to see happened. YG Entertainment said both Bang Yedam and Mashiho would not only leave Treasure, but YG Entertainment completely, as they terminated their exclusive contracts with the company. With the only explanation being this: we have reached such agreements so that Mashiho could have enough time to recover from his health condition and Bang Yedam could pursue his career as a producer. Now, we will never know the exact reason why idols leave their group, unless they actually speak on it themselves. For Mashiho, we don't know what health condition they're talking about, and to say we reached an agreement to give him enough time to recover makes it seem like a serious issue. But again, we don't know. For Bang Yedam, it's an even larger question mark. Bang Yedam was able to produce a small amount of Treasure music, but not as much as other YG artists in their own group, like BI with Ikon, Mino with Winner, and GD with BIGBANG. You get the idea. I am thinking that YG didn't give Bang Yedam enough chances to do what he wanted to do most, which was produce or write music. But there's another explanation. Bang Yedam was never an idol, or was never meant to be an idol. Did he have talent? Absolutely. I mean, more than anybody else I know. But the idol life didn't fit him, and to limit him within Treasure as YG did caused this to happen. I'm sure Bang Yedam would have loved to stay in YG Entertainment. However, they didn't treat him like the Treasure they first thought of him as. Right now, after this news broke, Treasure released a song with their 3 rappers, Hyun, Haruto, and Yoshi, titled Volcano. It's obvious Treasure has to continue on, but to lose the face of the group and the main dancer, any group would be lost. If I were to predict where Bang Yedam and Mashiho would go, I would say Bang Yedam would definitely become that producer he wants to be. But with the voice he has, he's gotta sing. So a solo artist is a safe bet. Mashiho will probably return to Japan, and I have no worries about him being almost anything he wants. Singer, actor, model, literally anything, he'll be successful. Taking a step back, Treasure are in a spot where most third-generation K-pop groups find themselves, overshadowed by the sudden rise of the new generation, and even others who debuted around the same time they did. Remember when I said that people grow during the most difficult times? That's the story of Treasure. Just like diamonds, Treasure were created under pressure, but they shine brighter because of it. And even now, with these 2 devastating losses, Treasure faced another stressful time. But I think we all know what happens. because of that.